Hi folks, hope you're okay. It's good to be with you today. I'm just about to go out and do a few errands, and before I go out, I just wanted to share a few things about my trip to Holland. It was My trip to Holland was an absolute amazing time. I can't explain to you how much it meant to me. It was such a real blessed time where I felt the real sense of God's presence and God's love, and I was just overwhelmed by the goodness of God on my trip to Holland. As you know, Frank and his wife, Kadeen, and little Joshua boy came over and from Holland to stay with me for a week, and we did mission together and we shared the gospel in Manchester, and it was a blessed time. It was really encouraging. And then Frank and Kadeen invited me over to Holland. Now, I don't travel much, and I'm not the best of travellers, but I appreciated the invite, so I went over to Holland in Rotterdam. Frank had organised a trip for me to go down to Belgium, to Antwerp. So we went down to Antwerp and we evangelised there one day. We stayed in a hostel, and then in the next day we did some more evangelism. Now, they don't normally have street preaching there, and I started to preach, and the Antwerp, Belgian people were in a state of shock, and more so when I sang a few songs like "This Little Light Is Mine" and "Let It Shine, Let It Shine." And but it was a brilliant time. There was lots of opportunity to talk to people. I did preach in the evening in Antwerp, where there were some Muslim youths tried to stop me. They tried to push me away out of the town centre or city centre, and Belgian people came round to protect me, and these Muslim youths went off and scarpered and ran away. But it was a really good time. We had some good opportunity to talk to people. We had good opportunity to share the gospel, and we got a lot of literature out. Then we went from Antwerp, I think we went, if I remember, we went back to Rotterdam, and we did some evangelism in a very difficult area of Rotterdam with the Muslims, and that was really tough. It was a very, very difficult area. Then we went to Amsterdam, me, Brother James, and Frank, and that was a blessed time. Brother James was a blessing, and Frank was a blessing, obviously. But Brother James, a young guy, so encouraging to see a young man full of zeal for the Lord. And then through the week, I did a few Bible studies for young people, and they really appreciated it. They were really blessed. I taught about the importance of the Word, being grounded in the Word, and I taught about the dangers of dead orthodoxy. So those were the two topics that I tackled, and I really felt connected to the young people there, and they were encouraged by what I had to say. Then there were some barbecues at the church. There was a barbecue. I went to the barbecue and met the Christians in the local church that Frank and Kadeem were connected to. And we really got on well, and I just loved the church. I loved the people there, and I was so encouraged by them, and they just had a real love for me, and I had a love for them, and it got even better. On a Sunday, they asked me to share a word, and I shared on the importance of the gospel-centered life, and I felt really close to the people there, and I know that they appreciated what I had to say. And there was another meal as well later on in the afternoon with communion, and it was just a blessed time. And then we went near the end of the week. We went into Rotterdam. We did some evangelism there, and was able to talk to a few people there. So the host where I stayed, the couple where I stayed with were lovely people, so kind, so gracious. Kadeen's mum and dad were such a lovely people and such a blessing. And I really came home with a real sense of, God's goodness, really, that it was just a really blessed experience. And there were so many nice people that I met in the church. Many of the young people um, that I met, Paul and others, and some of the ladies were really lovely people, and really, really genuine friends. So it's just been I'm just speechless at the goodness of God. I was so blessed, and I felt such a home with Frank and Kadeen and Joshua and their family, and also with the people of the church. It was a blessed time. I just pray that God will bless the seed, and that God will bless the evangelism that we've done, and that God will bless the messages that I gave, and that it will be an encouragement to people. One or two impressions that I had of Holland. I think England's darker than Holland. I think Holland have got more opportunity for a revival than England, because they have a Bible Belt, and in the Sunday morning many people are walking to church more than you see in England. Problem is that some of these churches are infected with a kind of hyper Calvinism, where I've been told that 1,000 people can go to communion, and then 1,000 people can go to church in a Calvinist church, and then only 4 people or 5 people can turn up to communion. And it just seems like there's a kind of hyper Calvinism that is stunting everybody and stopping everybody from realizing what true salvation is. So I don't know what the full problem is there, but there's a real problem with some kind of high form of hyper Calvinism. But I think that Holland has got an opportunity that England hasn't got. There is a strong Bible Belt, and if it got on fire, if that Bible Belt was on fire, it not only could erupt and bless spiritually Holland, it could bless the whole of the world. And so we need to pray for that Bible Belt, that it revives, and these big churches with over like 1,000 people in them revive and become strong spiritually, and start to use the resources to bless Holland. I saw the encroachment of Islam. We were in Rotterdam, and I saw a massive mosque with massive minarets. Why they had to have such big minarets, I don't know. But I believe that they're planning to take over Holland, and you could see that with the massive mosque that was being built there. And so we need to pray that Holland awakens and comes back to the Lord. So thanks for all your prayers. It was just an absolute blessed time, and I'm just thank God for His goodness. And I wish everybody in Holland that I've met, Frank, Kadeen, and the family, and all the people in the church there, I just wish them all the best. I'm praying for the sister whose son is not well. I'm praying for her and the son, and I'm praying for the church. I'm praying for the brothers that are doing evangelism, Frank and others that are doing evangelism to Muslims out there, and praying for the young people of the church, for James, Paul, and the ladies as well, and just praying for you all, and France and everybody out there. I'm just praying for you, and I just wish you all the best, and thank you so much for having me, and you just blessed me so much. I'm so encouraged. So God bless you. Keep going, keep preaching the gospel in Holland. God bless you.